How's it going, and welcome to Villains Voiced, a series where I go over your favorite villains that you love to hate and talk about ways we can go ahead and liven them up a bit. In today's video, we will be taking a look at Doru, a man who's fallen onto hard times, let's say. But before I go into anything major, I must warn you that there will be spoilers. So anybody that plans on playing in Curse of Strahd, do not watch this. But DMs that are DMing this, go ahead and stick around because I think there's a lot of things we can go over with this delightful character. And here he is, Doru. That art is just incredible, by the way. He is a poor, misguided soul who thought that he could save the day. He thought that Mordenkainen would lead the forces of Barovia to victory and free the land. But sadly for him, it did not pan out too well. And unfortunately for this guy in particular, he got transformed into a vampire spawn. After being transformed, he fled from the Castle Ravenloft and made his way to the village, and specifically back to his father, which he knew and loved. But the father, recognizing him for the monster that he is, hid him away in the basement so that he could do no harm. And for a full year now, Doru has been screaming and begging and pleading that he be released, and he is hungry. When your players arrive for the very first time in the chapel, they will hear a blood-curdling scream come from below. "Father, I'm starving!" Once your players creep in a little bit more and see the disheveled priest before them, Father Donovich, they will see that he is weak. He is both physically and mentally weak by all of this going on for the past year. And as your players creep around more, they will hear Doru scream out, "Father, let me out!" And as your players make their way to where Doru creeps, he can cry out, "I can smell your blood!" Now, noble characters are probably going to think to themselves, we should probably put this guy out of his misery. At which point, Father Donovich will cry and plead. He doesn't want his son to be killed, but at the same time, he knows that his son is a monster. He will not fight back because, quite frankly, he's too weak to fight back. But your players can go ahead and make their way to the cellar, and a measly little check can get them inside where they will see the darkness of the Undercroft. As soon as your players open it up and step inside, Doru will scream out, "Finally! After all this time!" Now, hopefully, your band of adventurers are smart and decide to stay together, whether they all stay at the very top of the landing or decide to all go down together. But if you have some brave, poor soul that makes their way down alone, Doru will go ahead and strike, screaming out, "I can't help myself! You look so delicious! I could eat you right up! I'm so starved, just give me a little taste. Don't hate me for this. Blame father for not feeding me." And unfortunately, if your players are lower level and this one individual is by themselves, they're probably done for. This guy is not going to be easy to take out on his own, and he will gladly tear into anybody and drain them bit by bit. Now, if your party decides to open it up and they decide to either stay at the landing or go down into the Undercroft, Doru will try and take advantage of the situation and run away. And to that degree, he has the advantage here. He can run along the walls and the ceilings. He is pretty strong, so he's probably not too worried about taking some of the damage, and he'll gladly just run past everyone, screaming such things as, "Let me leave! I can't be down here any longer! Get out of my way! I won't hold back anymore!" Now, your party could decide to try and attack him, trying to subdue him, at which point he will go ahead and scream out, "Ah! You can't kill me! I have so much left to do! Just let me get a quick bite! I need something to sate me! Just leave me be! I have some words for father!" He will go ahead and claw and bite at anyone who stands in his way, especially if they completely clog the entrance and do not allow him to escape. But if your players give him the opportunity, he will go ahead and just run away, running along the walls and making his way out of the church. This is admittedly pretty hard for most lower level parties to handle because they don't have enough damage to deal with him. All of their attacks are going to be doing less damage because he's resistant to everything, and he'll be regenerating a lot of his health. And of course, if he starts actually attacking some of the party, he's going to do so much damage that people might just go ahead and back off because they don't want to get killed. Once he makes his way out of the church, screaming words such as, "Father, why have you forsaken me?" He will go ahead and leap out of the church and make his way to the Castle Ravenloft. Now, why is that? He wants to go to Castle Ravenloft because he knows that deep down, if he were to stay here, he will kill someone. And he probably doesn't want to kill his own dad. He thinks that the best option for him is to go ahead and go to the man that turned him, in which case Strahd might go ahead and feed him something else. And hopefully that'll mean that Doru's not hurting the ones that he's called friends and family for many years. But your players may get creative and decide to tackle him down. They might be able to subdue him, or they might go ahead and offer up their own blood to Doru, in which case Doru will be a bit more pleading with the party. "Please, don't kill me. I'm just so hungry. I've been starved for so long." If your players actually start to talk with Doru and discuss why he's a vampire spawn, he can go ahead and tell them the whole story. "A year ago, I thought I could help this land and joined that damned wizard. Most of the people ran when they saw the devil, but the few of us who remained were taken. I don't know where the others are, but I made my way here, and Father locked me away." Once your players get a bit more information about this character, they might decide to show him some leniency, but at the same time, he is no longer human. He is undead. He is a vampire spawn. And while he might appear to be talking to them, you have to consider, is this all a ruse, or is he still maintaining some of his own sanity? He will tell the party, "Please, if I just feed regularly, I promise I won't harm a soul. I beg of you, don't let me starve again." In which case, your players are going to have to sit there and decide, is this forthcoming and true, or is he merely lying to get whatever he wants? That is somewhat left to you. Is Doru actually still maintaining his humanity in this undead form? Or is he just doing whatever it takes to survive like many creatures do? There is a lot of great ways you can spin this character, whether he be a forsaken soul that is going to do damnable things, or a person that wants to live and is doing whatever it takes, and including lying to the party and possibly killing them, or maybe even killing his own father. And that can come into effect as well later on. If your players allow him to escape, do your players see him at the castle again? Or does he come up somewhere else in this module? That can be a fun twist if your players meet this character early on, and when they get invited to Castle Ravenloft, Doru is the one that's serving them dinner. That could be a great spin. But what if your players decide to work out a deal where Doru is given blood regularly at the village of Barovia? Does he simply reside in the church? Does he interact with the townspeople? Are they going to be allowing this? Maybe if your players decide that they want to let Doru live, maybe the village of Barovia doesn't want anything to do with that, and they set up a mob to try and deal with the monster. There is a lot of great ways you can expand upon this character, other than just the few little lines we get on what they say and do. And lastly here, if your players are able to put this vampire spawn down, he will scream out, "Father, forgive me." And that's it. Just a few lines to really get us in the mindset of this character. Why is he in the position that he is, and what is he willing to do to get out of it? Is he a character that is good, or is he evil, just like all the other vampire spawn that reside in this land? You know, I love subverting expectations, and I'm willing to bet that if you draw this character up with a bit of good in him, then you will easily subvert a lot of the expectations of undead are all evil. This character's got a lot going for them, and you should totally use that to your advantage, especially because this is one of the earliest encounters with undead your players can get into. That is going to do for me, though. Thank you so very much for watching, and thank you to all my lovely patrons right here. You guys are all incredible. You guys really helped me out with this, and I love seeing those comments that say, this is my favorite series, or no one's doing anything like it, because that really drives me to making these videos. I absolutely love it, and I can't wait to make more with all of you. Go ahead and tell me, how are you planning on using Doru? Is he simply just an undead who's going to bite into the party and try and kill them all? Or is he going to try and do whatever it takes to not kill people and still retain a bit of his humanity? There is a lot of ways you can spin this tale. That is going to do it for me, though. Thank you so very much for watching, and I cannot wait to see you all in the next one.